Yes guys, so a massive thank you to Private Internet Access for sponsoring this video and partnering with me here on GBFC for 30 days in the lead up to the World Cup. If you don't know what Private Internet Access is, it's a VPN. Everybody should have a VPN to encrypt your internet connection. With the World Cup coming up, I live in Indonesia. I want to be watching with English commentary, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to the UK so that I can sign into my TV accounts in the UK and listen to English commentary from my favourite commentators. Why should you go with Private Internet Access for your VPN? Well, through my link in the description, you guys can also see it here on the screen, you're going to get yourselves 3 months for free and 82% discount, which makes this cost you $2.11 per month. Go check the link in the description. They're the most transparent VPN provider in the world. See you guys there. Thank you very much. Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel. It's been a bit of a few days, maybe about a week or so, few weeks really, since I've really been engaged with you lot, which I don't really want to apologise necessarily, because at the end of the day, if I'm not feeling the football, you guys won't be enjoying the videos, so I thought it was better that I took like a prolonged sabbatical away from the channel, because Chelsea were towards the end, before this World Cup that has now got me gassed and excited again for football, Chelsea were dragging me down in many different ways. Results-wise, looking at the Premier League table, depressing. When we look at the way that people are talking about Chelsea, both in YouTube comments, social media, I was sat here thinking, blimey, this isn't nice. I don't like this space that we're in right now. Watching Chelsea was dull, unengaging, and I feel as though I totally disconnected from football, which is probably the first time in a long while that I've done that. But luckily for me, it coincided with my dad, my old man, coming out to Bali, where I've been for the last 3 years, not seen the bloke once. And he came here for just over a week, and I reconnected with my dad, which was absolutely beautiful. And we had a great time, and I've not really been focused too much on videos. But the World Cup is here, and I feel like for Chelsea fans at least, this World Cup has come at the perfect moment. I was thinking, this is a Chelsea YouTube channel. Should I be making content around the World Cup? And then the fact I'm not going to Qatar means that I'm going to be here with all my friends. I think this is a perfect opportunity for me to vlog whilst the World Cup is on. They're going to be football orientated vlogs, getting loads of different faces in here, showing you guys a bit of Bali. It's kind of like a travel football video, but I'm not going to Qatar, didn't get tickets, didn't really get invited either. So at this moment in time, this is the best option that I've got. During the World Cup, there'll still be Chelsea news, but we're also going to be doing predictions. That's going to be out tomorrow. We're going to be doing vlogs, especially on the days that England are playing. But if there is a good atmosphere around here, I'm probably going to end up doing more vlogs where you guys can see the reactions to goals, speak to fans of different countries, that kind of thing. And if you've been following me for years, you'll know that I used to do this all the time. So stay tuned on the channel. And then obviously when football comes back in December, we're going to hopefully have forgotten about the last few weeks of Chelsea, as in right now, where it's been pretty awful. We're all feeling a little bit dejected. We're wondering if this is the new normal. My dog is going absolutely berserk. The new normal of what we've got to expect under new ownership. Football will be back in December, and the World Cup is the biggest sporting event in the world. And I absolutely cannot wait. And for those people that don't know who I support, I'm English. It's England. It's coming home. But today, we do have Chelsea news. We're going to talk Robert Sanchez. We're going to talk about what that could mean for Edouard Mendy. I want to talk about Christopher Nkunku, who unfortunately got injured in a training session for France. But the deal is as good as done, apparently. But we've heard this before, haven't we? Going to talk Mason Mount's contract, and I'm also going to discuss Cristiano Ronaldo. And I feel like I'm going to start with Sanchez, because Chelsea, despite Graham Potter being Brighton's manager, we've not just gone there and taken Graham Potter from Brighton and Hove Albion. We've gone and taken about 6 different members of staff, maybe even 7 at this point. There have been so many off-the-field changes at Chelsea, and it just so happens to have coincided with this little period of me not falling out of love with football, but me just not being as engaged as I normally would be. Robert Sanchez, Brighton's goalkeeper, one of the underrated goalkeepers in the Premier League, is highly desired at Chelsea by Graham Potter and his team. Now, what does this mean for Champions League winning goalkeeper Edouard Mendy? Mendy lost his #1 spot to Kepa Arrizabalaga. Kepa got injured, Mendy gets it back, and just so happens that during those games, Chelsea lose football matches. So Mendy is obviously going to be one of those players who is involved in a losing team a couple of games ago. And we're going to look at this and say, well, Chelsea want Robert Sanchez. We've got Gabriel Slonina, a 19-year-old, 18-year-old American who Chelsea have bought in for the future. Mendy is not necessarily young, but he's certainly not old for a goalkeeper. Robert Sanchez is playing top level in the Premier League. Chelsea won't be buying him as a number 3. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So if Kepa manages to keep hold of the number 1, which I think he rightly got back off of Mendy, Edouard Mendy may not be looking to sign a new contract. I'd love to know your thoughts on this in the comments down below. One player that we really want to sign a new deal is Mason Mount, Chelsea and England's midfielder. Now, Mason Mount contract discussions have been going on for some time. The reason why Mount needs a new contract is because the money he's getting paid right now, even though in footballing terms, money, we can absolutely bore that conversation to death. But Mason Mount is one of the lower bracket wage earners in the Chelsea first team. And considering he's been player of the year, we need to be giving this guy something a lot better. Contract talks, they kind of stalled. We've not heard any news, but the latest on the Mason Mount contract is that Chelsea feel as though they've made a breakthrough with Mason Mount's representatives, which is nothing but thumbs up from me. And in January, there is a meeting scheduled to try and conclude Mason Mount's contract. Now, with England, there's going to be, with every World Cup, there's always players that shine. There are always players where there are contracts that haven't yet been signed, talks that are to be had after the World Cup. If Mason Mount shines for England, I wouldn't be surprised if we started seeing rumours of Real Madrid's big clubs coming in and trying to pinch Mason Mount from Chelsea. My belief is that Mason Mount will stay at Chelsea for the majority of his career. That is based entirely on the fact that this downward spiral that we're currently positioned in isn't going to last forever. I'm here to back the manager. I want to give Graham Potter all of my support. Mason Mount is a player who deserves and needs to be playing at the highest level. Chelsea cannot continue this spiral, but I feel as though that will have zero influence on whether or not Mason Mount signs a new deal. So this meeting in January, we should hopefully find out if Mount is going to sign a new long-term deal. The next story is regarding Christopher Nkunku. It is being heavily reported that Nkunku will become a Chelsea player. Now, the important things here, there are two things. Number one, he's injured. He's probably not going to be playing in the World Cup for France right now, which is a real shame because we want to see players that are either Chelsea players or players that look like they could become Chelsea players. We want to see them performing at the highest level. We want to see them on the main stage. And even though that France team is absolutely stacked, in my World Cup predictions tomorrow, you guys will see that I don't think France are going to do that well. But all of that to one side. Nkunku is out. Chelsea look as though we are not only the big favourites, but a deal looks to have been done. And it could be as soon as January, which would be absolutely massive for Chelsea because what we can talk about regarding the last few games, defensively we were poor, but creatively going forward, we couldn't finish, we don't make enough chances. And Nkunku's record is fabulous. Yes, there are echoes of Timo Werner, and we know that didn't quite go to plan despite him being a Champions League winner at the club, but Nkunku to Chelsea looks as though and sounds like it's as good as a done deal. We finished this video today with news that dropped about 3 or 4 days ago regarding Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, Ronaldo, Chelsea were reportedly the favourites. In the last 24 hours or so, Chelsea have reportedly ruled themselves out of signing Cristiano Ronaldo. I think, to bring it back to what I said in the summer, when you're offered Ronaldo, hindsight is a wonderful thing. And we can all sit here and say, thank goodness we didn't sign him. He could have done exactly what he's done at Man United. Piers Morgan interview, disrespects the club, disrespects the manager. That could have been us. Phew, aren't we lucky? You also got to remember, he's been at Manchester United for a while. There is always going to be, with a player like Ronaldo, ego issues that come to the forefront of the footballing conversation. Ronaldo as an entity is a massive deal. Yes, Manchester United, massive club. Do I agree with any of the things that Ronaldo has said? Some of them. Do I agree with any of the ways in which he's gone about it? Absolutely not. So in that case, I would also like to go on record as a Chelsea fan with the YouTube channel and say, Chelsea, please steer away from Cristiano Ronaldo. It feels to me as if he's a player who knows he's at the end of his career, and because it's not going as swimmingly in the limelight as he would like it to, you can also add that Messi's having a great season with PSG, and that conversation, as a big ego, has a big part to play. And Ronaldo's coming out basically trying to get himself an exit from Manchester United. Chelsea were the favourites. Now we're not interested. And I think that's massive. Graham Potter has said, similar to that of Thomas Tuchel, that we don't want Ronaldo. Todd Boehly wants Ronaldo for commercial reasons. That is always going to be obvious. The owner's going to be like, this guy, he's a top goal scorer. And he brings in a lot of revenue. Can we get him, please? Do you want him? Potter says no. I say no. I think what Ronaldo's done, the way he's gone about speaking about United, as much as I don't like United, diplomatically, I can say it's absolutely wrong. It shouldn't have been done. I think he's been very unfair on Erik ten Hag as well. And Chelsea will do good to steer away. Check out privateinternetaccess.com in the link in the description. They've kindly sponsored the channel in the build-up to the World Cup. We've got a few more days to go. Come on, you Blues.